In these uncertain economic times, you've got to do whatever you can to save money. One of our biggest expenses can be our cars, especially when unexpected repair bills hit. Not anymore. If you own a vehicle with less than 130,000 miles, is less than 12 years old, has a warranty about to expire, or even no warranty at all, you could stop paying for car repairs. Roadside assistance, towing, and rental coverage are all included. Don't wait for the next repair. Make one free call right now to see if you qualify. If your vehicle is less than 12 years old, has less than 130,000 miles, even if it's out of warranty, paying for car repairs can become a thing of the past. Call us right now and get your car protected before your next repair bill hits. Get protection and no more repair bills. Call 800-696-1030. Again, 800-696-1030. That's 800-696-1030. 800-696-1030.
Joe had huge problems with the IRS.
I knew it was coming. I hadn't filed taxes since 1990.
All the IRS letters coming in added up to a nightmare.
It got up to like $68,000. My heart started beating fast. It's like, there's no way, man. I mean, I ain't going to be able to do this.
Then they stopped his paycheck.
So that's when I started making phone calls and found U.S. Tax Shield.
U.S. Tax Shield went to work immediately.
They just took the bull by the horns. What blew my mind is he called the IRS right then and there.
So why is U.S. Tax Shield A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau? Joe knows.
They saved me a ridiculous amount of money.
If you owe more than $10,000 to the IRS or state, choose the company Joe chose, U.S. Tax Shield.
It was the best decision I made. U.S. Tax Shield is the way to go. Life is good. Thank you, Lord.
Call 800-471-3287.
U.S. Tax Shield. Boo-rah. Yes.
800-471-3287. 800-471-3287.
K98 Talk is expanding its lineup for 2015. This means we're expanding our advertising base. Whether you're a startup trying to push through to the next level or an established business trying to supplement your advertising budget, web-based advertising is a solid investment. Thanks to Talk's newest partnership with TuneIn Radio and instant access to our sister station, K98 FM, we give you worldwide access at a reasonable cost. Interested parties should email us at advertise@k98talk.org. The leader in talk radio on the Internet, right here on K98 Talk and the Spark Radio Network.
Alright folks, this one's going to be a little different. I am Rick Robinson, this is America Off the Rails, and you are actually listening to a live broadcast, but part of this show was actually pre-recorded because I wanted to take the time to get it as right as I could with still giving it the feel of a live show. So in a moment we will go to a taped section that I just finished a minute ago, but I want to say something for the record and I want to say it live. As of right now, I am not coming to you as the programming director of K98 Talk. I am coming to you as someone who has been watching his friends and people, some of which that he considers family, come under direct attack in cyberspace for the last several weeks, and I have had enough. I'm done. So we're going to lay it all out for you tonight. In the words of a great admiral, damn the torpedoes, full speed ahead. I'm done hiding. I'm done being civil. This stuff stops. So we're going to lay it all out for you, and I want you guys to be the judge. I'm going to spend about 30 minutes of this show outlining what a lot of us have been going through for the last couple of weeks, and I want your honest take on it. I don't want you to go attack the person in question, because honestly, the beginning of the taping, I did my best not to mention her name or anything else, but then as I started reading the articles to make sure that you guys could get the full story and full spectrum of everything that's going on, it became impossible not to mention who she is. I don't want you attacking her. That's not what this is about. I want you to understand that we have been maligned. Our reputations have been taken through the mud, the muck, and everything else by someone who, by all accounts, has been doing this now for years, and no one has done anything about it until now. And I am done. You know who you are, you know who I'm talking to, and I know you listen to this show. So you have been warned. You stand down now, and you leave my people alone, or I will take action and you will not like them. And no, I'm not bullying you. I'm not threatening you. I'm telling you, I am done, and you have pushed my last button. You don't know who I am. You do not know what I used to do for a living, and I will find you. Not to hurt you, but I will make sure that everybody understands exactly who you are and exactly what you've been doing for the last several years. Your experiment ends today. See, this is why I pre-recorded most of this, because I didn't want to get like this on the air. I don't, because it feeds into what this person is saying about us. But you have to understand what we have all been going through for the past several weeks, and I mean weeks, of being blocked and tweeted at behind blocks. And then she tweets the station and says, well, it's pretty funny that you're supposed... Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. We are a station. But we are also a family. And if you attack my family, I'm not backing down. I'm not stepping aside. And I'll be damned if I'm going to sit by and watch it happen. So, if you think you can take us out, then by all means, you take your shot. Because you tried it last night, and we're still here. I'm done. So at this point, folks, I'm going to stop before I blow a blood vessel, because I really am that angry, and I'm going to let you hear what we've been going through. But first, we do have to go ahead and kind of do... Well, no, you know what? This is all kinds of messed up, because it's been kind of a different way to set things up. So, okay, you know what we're going to do? We're going to do this. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take the usual break, play the couple of commercials, and then we'll actually start with the meat of the show. And then when that ends, I'll just finish up the time kind of re-wrapping and going over it, because like I said, the tape section is about 30 minutes. So by the time we're finished with the breaks and everything else, won't be much time left for me to talk, but I'm not really that worried about that today.
K98 Talk is expanding its lineup for 2015. This means we're expanding our advertising base. Whether you're a startup trying to push through to the next level, or an established business trying to supplement your advertising budget, web-based advertising is a solid investment. Thanks to Talk's newest partnership with TuneIn Radio and instant access to our sister station, K98 FM, we give you worldwide access at a reasonable cost. Interested parties should email us at advertise@k98talk.org. The leader in talk radio on the internet, right here on K98 Talk and the Spark Radio Network.
All right, folks, well, good evening. This is America Off the Rails. I'm your host, Rick Robinson, and just a couple minutes past the hour right here in beautiful downtown Oklahoma City. Now, before we get started, I do want to give a quick shout-out to all of the affiliates and all that usual fun stuff. So I want to give a quick shout-out to AMFM247.com, one of the first folks to pick us up, where you can be heard in 7 terrestrial low-power markets on both AM and FM, as well as their Live 365 stream, and we can be heard there every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern. Then the next place to pick us up was Red State Talk Radio. They are one of the powerhouses in internet-based radio, and this show can be heard there every Sunday at 5 Central, 6 Eastern in the morning. So bright and early, grab some coffee, hang out with me over there. Then if you don't like who's coming up after I'm done, just switch over. You can catch out Richard and go to church for about 2 hours in case you can't make it to your physical worship place that day. Now, of course, the next place we have is SHR Media, another rock star group where this show can be heard every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 11 Eastern. And then we have the Leading Edge Radio Network, a group out of Texas, great bunch of folks, honored to be over there, and they have me Monday through Friday when I can remember to send them a show. Sorry about that, man. I get every once in a while, I'm just saying. But anyway, so when I can remember to send them the file, we're on Monday through Friday at 7 Eastern. And then one of the ones that I really like, because it's another terrestrial one, and it's not that I have any favorites overall, but come on, I'm a radio guy. Terrestrial's where it's at for us, So getting picked up on all these terrestrial places is awesome. And there's another one coming soon, but I don't want to give away any spoilers. But right now we are in New Jersey every night on High Point Radio, straight out of New Jersey, on both the AM/FM dial on short range, so you can always check us out in all of these different places. And if worse comes to worse, you can always find us, check us out, visit us in our podcast areas, which are everywhere. We are on FM Player, we're on Stitcher, we are on Spreaker, which is basically our backbone of our network. Then we have SoundCloud, where everything gets duplicated to. You can even find my YouTube channel under my name, Rick Robinson, and basically look at almost everything that we put out, except for the stuff that we don't have consent to put over on YouTube anymore. Yeah, yes, I'm talking about you, Michael Vera. Pardon me, folks. Did not mean to cough on the air. But at this point, we're going to go ahead and take a really quick break, and then when we come back, we will get started with the show. And just to give you a bit of a heads up, it's been a crazy week here at K98 Talk and AltCon, but we will talk about our new crazy cyber stalker. Probably spend most of the show talking about that, to be honest, just because, hey, isn't that how they say you've made it? When you start having the crazy people that are just coming out of the woodwork to give you a hard time, isn't that usually the first clue that you've become a star? Well, I'm not sure if it applies to me, because I got there by default. But there have been some good breaking information and a few other things that have driven us all crazy here. So we'll talk about that when we get back.
For long calls, we got a pen and telephone.
Alright folks, this is Rick Robinson with you. I want to tell you about some friends of mine from a company called Security Enforcement Specialists. When I ran my security agency for 12 years, I worked with one of these partners on a daily basis. He's been involved in this agency now, and with his other partner, they do have over 30 years of experience in the private security industry. If you own a business and you need someone to keep you or your customers or residents safe, then I highly recommend contacting Security Enforcement Specialists today. Give them a call at 405-703-1796. Again, that's 405-703-1796. Again, tell them Rick from K98 Talk sent you. Like I said, if you need the help, they are here for you. So make sure that you go look them up, check them out, and see what they can do.
Wrong way. Welcome to the place. Welcome
to... This is Slickery Trigger for Rebel Road Tactical. With proper care and feeding, your pistol will be ready when you need it. There to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry or a tough-as-nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.
We will keep this promise to the American people. If you like your doctor, you will be able to keep your doctor, period. If you like your health care plan, you will be able to keep your health care plan, period. This is the most transparent administration in history.
Fact is, we had 4 dead Americans. What difference at this point does it make?
If you got a business, you didn't build that.
Oh, welcome to the face. Welcome to the face of the new democracy. Don't expect just to make a mistake. We're paying off
It's time to hear the truth about America's biggest challenges. You're listening to America Off the Rails with your host, Rick Robinson.
All right, so we are back. We are live, and of course, this is America Off the Rails. I'm your host, Rick Robinson. Now, as I said, we have had a bit of a thing going on here for a while now. It's been a couple of weeks now, honestly. It all started with AltCon Radio, one of our networks that we work kind of closely with. They air some of our shows. We work with them together at events and conferences sometimes. So we're all pretty much a pretty close-knit, tight group, and that can go for anywhere that our shows are aired. So the issue is, a few weeks ago, there was a particular person who, for the duration of this episode, shall remain nameless, even though she has not extended us the same courtesy, who has continued to point out that she feels that she's being harassed, stalked, bullied, and everything else. Well, the problem is she's actually the one that started it. But the story gets better from there, because, you see, last night she managed to dupe a news channel, again, that shall remain nameless, in Atlanta. Some of you who are following along know exactly who I'm talking about and what channel it is, but I'm doing them a courtesy, even though they didn't really do the main victim in this story a courtesy. I am being professional. I know, it's hard to imagine me, the crazy guy, being professional, but I do know how once in a while. So anyway, there was a story that ran in the Atlanta market last night, outlining this individual and how they felt they had been bullied, mainly because the one of the folks involved in the original story, who had been being harassed and belittled and made fun of and talked down to and everything else for several days, had finally just really thought that this person had lost it, because they kept saying random things that didn't make any sense. They talked about taking their own life. They kept and that may or may not have been in reference to some of the other things that were being said, so she could try to get them to say those things. But she kept repeatedly asking, "Why are you asking me if I'm okay? What are you going? What are you afraid I'm going to kill myself? Why does it matter? Leave me alone." So they eventually did what is called a wellness check, which is actually a pretty common thing to do when somebody starts saying things that just absolutely positively do not make sense. But the problem is, this TV station, who again shall remain nameless because we are currently in talks with them to try to see about getting the full story out instead of just her version of it, basically they showed what they termed to be a police report. What that report was the wellness check request. And it had the full name of the host from AltCon Radio displayed for all the world to see, including this person who, while purportedly acting like a victim, in everyone else's opinion, is basically the one that is doing the stalking. And she admitted that this was all basically an experiment, and that she just wanted to see what would happen if she kept pushing buttons. And some of that's ad-lib on my part, but she did specifically state that her behavior was an experiment. Well, the problem is, if you go and you look at this person's history, which is rather simple, which is another reason why I'm not giving her name on the air. If you want to find it hard enough, you can go look. It's not that difficult. But all you've got to do is run a Google search of her name. You will find that she has been exhibiting this type of behavior online for the last couple of years. There's actually a specific person who's been named repeatedly that she continues to harass. And now at this point, come on. I'm just going to backpedal for a second here, just to kind of give you the idea of how flabbergasted we all are. You know that Talk has both liberal and conservative hosts, and we allow all viewpoints. We have males, females, conservatives, liberals, all of the above. Well, we have one of our liberal hosts who was just kind of getting caught up to speed on the stuff that's been going on, and when he went and looked at the timeline of the person in question, basically, he was like, I don't even understand what it is that she's trying to do, because it's not like she's just attacking AltCon or K98. She seems to be lashing out at everyone. And it seems to be rather unstable behavior. And I'm like, hey, yeah, that's kind of what we've been saying for the past several weeks. And then, and this was the funny part, please, for the love of God, tell me she's not a liberal. His words, not mine. And I said, I'm sorry, brother, hate to tell you this, but she plays for your side of the fence. And that's when he basically just said, I'm done. I don't want to be on this planet anymore. I mean, that's the nice way to put what he said. But you get the gist of it, because there was some language in there and a few other things, and I'm just not really comfortable with saying that on the radio, because, like I mentioned, this does actually occasionally go into an actual, car situation, all that fun stuff. So yeah, but just to make sure that you're aware, we do have folks of all stripes here, and we allow them to voice their opinions. And when this particular host of mine, who also shall remain nameless, found out that this person was purportedly on his side of the fence, so to speak, he was not very well pleased, because basically his exact words, after having absolutely nothing to do with this for the entire week because he was busy doing other things, he took a 5-minute look at her timeline and said, "This chick is nuts. You can blatantly and patently tell she's crazy by the things that she's doing and saying on her own freaking timeline." However, a certain station in Atlanta missed that little tidbit. Just throwing that out there. But yeah, so anyway, I just, just to give you guys the full story here, I want to go over a few things with you here, just to kind of give you how this all started, what happened with it, and all of the above. So give me just a second here. Alright, so at this point I'm madly searching for the articles that I wanted to talk about and didn't realize I didn't have time to edit out the dead air. So I do want to give a little bit of a reminder. I did intend to not mention anybody's name in the broadcast part of this show that was pre-recorded. Unfortunately, here in just a moment you will hear I broke that promise. But, at this point, their names are all over everything that we've been talking about all day anyway, so I guess it really doesn't matter anymore. And here I come talking again. Bye! Alright, so at this point, we're just going to go ahead and kind of start from the beginning. This is a blog post from the AltCon website, dateline September 24th. So I'm just going to kind of read through all of this with you guys just to give you a better idea of the complete picture. And this is the title, Cyberbully Tries to Take Down AltCon. Then there's a big picture. It says, "Keep calm and stop cyberbullying." And then we have the author who begins with this sentence. Okay, you're all laughing because who could take down any of AltCon's radio hosts, right? I mean, we're all locked and loaded and we're all tough as nails. I didn't survive cancer only to let some Looney Tune get me frazzled. But what is truly up with radical progressives who think they have the right to free speech, but everyone else needs to just shut up and get in line? Recently, one of our hosts was attacked by Kathy Scott. Whoops. Sorry, Kathy, I wasn't actually planning on saying your name. Luckily, well, never mind. Alright, so of Great Scott Communications, Scott is in PR communications and blogs from several low-follower sites. She has a Twitter account called 1000 Girlfriends. Jody made the mistake of commenting on a tweet Scott posted regarding a convicted former South Dakota state candidate. There were several back-and-forth tweets. Erickson debated the candidate was not a target of gender bias, while obviously no one else can have an opinion of anything, because shortly after Scott was trolling Erickson from a sock regarding a scarf Erickson wore when she met Fiorina. Scott's poor understanding of the law was that flat clothing was disrespectful to vets. You can imagine this triggered many followers to correct Ms. Scott, and the trolling escalated quickly. Soon there were multiple socks attacking Jody, as well as libelous blog posts. All were bizarre examples of confused writing. It seems odd, she says she supports this convicted felon, yet continues to put negative comments out in public. No one else publicly wrote disparaging comments about this South Dakota former candidate in public. Her blog is filled with comments about this former candidate. With PR friends like that, who needs enemies? Well, when you actually have 1,000 girlfriends, they have your back. Scott seemed to be very unfamiliar with this support, as she was so furious, she was soon shouting. She would sue Hammy, then AltCon Radio, then she tried to get Laura Lee fired, and then she doxed Diane. She then went after K98, hi guys, and their hosts, and she went after our guest. It seemed odd to me that a sane person in PR communications would be trolling South Carolina State Representative for Carly Fiorina. See, what Scott doesn't get is what we have seen, what we have lived through, our former talk show hosts and cyberbullies. We have seen Stacey Lennox, Sam Janney, and Holly Fisher have had their children's photos posted by evil obsessive trolls. We have lived through doxes, exposing our home addresses to trolls with hate in their hearts. We have 1,000 plus friends because we have become a tight-knit family who is each other's backs. If you really are not a friend and don't have any friends, well, that may seem like ganging up. We call it protecting and defending our own. So you can hate all you want. You can let us live rent-free in that empty noggin from now until Christ comes, but let me just fill you in on something. We will push back. We will support and protect our friends, and we will expose your desperate absurdity for what it is, a cry for attention. And when you realize what great people we honestly are, maybe you will have wished that instead of letting your hate and anger take over and viciously attacking, you will see that the only one looking hateful or pathetic is the lonely blogger hurling threats. Hashtag Muppets. And that is where that one ends. So fast forward probably about 24 hours, because by then our little radio station had become fully embroiled in the situation. Well, we put out a press release of our own, basically trying to take the high road, which honestly up to now hasn't really worked. But this was the statement put together by our public information officer and also our communications director. And I'm going to go ahead and read you that in its entirety as well, and then give you an overview of what actually has transpired today. The following is an official announcement in regards to recent events. Please read and share as you see fit. Anybody who wants to share this or read it in its entirety without listening to me drone on about it is welcome to go to our Facebook page where you can find the whole statement, K98talk.com. All right. Actually, I guess it's just facebook.com/K98talk. The following is the official announcement in regards to recent events. Please read and share as you see fit from the desk of K98 Talk's Director of Communications. K98 statement on cyber stalking and conservative talk. As a premier conservative talk network with some of the most popular shows on Stitcher, which we have, by the way, we at K98 Talk understand very well the contentious territory in which we work. In addition, quite a few of our hosts are active on Twitter promoting their shows, as well as their views on politics. While those views may not reflect any official view of K98 Talk, K98 FM, or the Spark Radio Network, it is our policy to stand behind the First Amendment rights of every show and every host on our network. This policy has not and will not change. Our hosts are regularly attacked on Twitter by both conservatives and liberals for their views on issues and candidates, especially Donald Trump. Just saying. Okay, hang on. There we go. I lost myself because I had to ad-lib about Trump there. Sorry. Many of them have very loyal listeners and Twitter followers who come to their defense in the process of those attacks. We run across all type of people and or accounts on Twitter. The saddest may be those who appear to have emotional challenges that play out in public on social media. Cray, you know who you are. And they, so, hang on. See, I ad-libbed and I lose my place. Go figure. So, hang on. Yeah, our hosts are regularly attacked on Twitter, both by conservatives and liberals for their views on issues and candidates. Many of them have very loyal listeners and Twitter followers who come to their defense in the process of these attacks. We run across all types of people and or accounts on Twitter. The saddest may be those who appear to have emotional challenges that play out in public on social media. As a station, we pray for those people and hope that they find a healthier outlet and healing in the process, as do our staff. Sometimes we realize too late that we are dealing with someone who is emotionally challenged or ill in those cases. We defend ourselves, but we still feel sadness and concern for those who attack us. Other times, disengaging can be nearly impossible, though we try, which in this instance it has been, and I'll let you know more about that in a moment. To our listeners, hosts, and fans, we hope that you all will be aware that some Twitter accounts are not run by people like us, and you will know when you encounter someone who may be ill. Alright, so that concludes the most recent situations up until what happened today. And then we all got, a little lax. Everything seemed like it was starting to try to finally die down. One of our hosts was contacted in regards to a truce using another social media platform. Nobody ever really got a response there. Yesterday was pretty quiet, so we were all thinking maybe she was moving on to another target. And then all of a sudden we start seeing tweets because, by the way, we're all blocked. However, she's tagging a lot of us in her tweets even though we're blocked. So if it wasn't for folks that were letting us know, we wouldn't know most of the things that she's still trying to come at us with because, we're all blocked. So, just for the record, tweeting behind a block is actually a violation of Twitter policy. At support, hello? Anybody listening? So, anyway. This was put together after this incident, and I'm just going to kind of read this all at once, because basically what happened is she took her show on the road and was picked up by that Fox channel. Oops, I said their name. I'm sorry. In that particular market, Atlanta. And just to be fair, I think they honestly were probably duped, and that's actually the reason why I just gave up and said I'm going to go ahead and say it, because it's in the title. Fox 5 Atlanta duped into featuring well-known cyberstalker as a victim. And this is datelined by October 1st, and was actually put out again by our public information officer, and also our communications director, and I'm still not giving out her name, because I don't know if she wants me to. Over the past couple of weeks, AltCon and K98 Talk Radio networks have been repeatedly and relentlessly pursued by a woman who may or may not have been running an experiment. Remember, those are her words, not ours. Or may just be a cyberbully, pretty much. On Wednesday, September 30th, 2015, that woman was featured on Fox 5 Atlanta WAGA as a victim in a report that repeatedly included a document. Clearly visible within that document was the full name and location of a member of the AltCon radio staff. The woman from Colorado, as Fox 5 Atlanta referred to her, was actually the victim, or one of the victims, of a relentless campaign that appeared to be attempted humiliation, orchestrated and executed by their featured victim. For that matter, Fox 5 Atlanta may have been a victim themselves. By the end of the first week, I found myself, and again, this is our PIO talking, to be the target of her harassment for merely offering to serve as the public information officer for this entire Kathy Scott-created mess, and for attempting to professionally correct her misinformation. This only led her to propagate the false stories on more websites and in more harassing ways. The whole thing has been quite eye-opening. What was more shocking was the reaction of Fox 5 Atlanta when we found out that our stalker purported to be going on and talking about cyberbullying in a top 10 news market. Well, just imagine if you had heard the same. A little chilling, isn't it? I called the Fox 5 news desk, I introduced myself appropriately, and asked if they were doing such a story. The news desk assured me that they were not. I thought the issue was dead. Around 10:30, I received a message that Fox 5 was teasing the story. I called the news desk again, and was directed to a producer who told me that none of our people were featured in this story. Later, I found out that a staff member from AltCon, who I am also temporarily acting as their public information officer as well, did have her identity and location revealed on air during that story. As a public information officer, I have never been misled by a news desk, newsroom, or reporter. I have worked with media across the country, national and local, and I'm proud to say this has never happened before. I am saddened that it has happened now. In addition, the news desk said that I can only view the content online, like everyone else, when it posts. I would love to link it to you here, however it still is not posted 13 hours later. As of this morning, she still will not stop stalking me. This was forwarded to me by a friend. And this is the Twitter account in question. And they don't like you, but they will check your page religiously. Sonia something or other. And it was, of course, addressed to our PIO as an @ format. So she tagged her even though she's behind a block. Try to find a way to be happy. And then, of course, they don't like you, but they will be checking your page religiously, was a picture that was attached to that. And here is the actual story. This was just the introduction. Woman with a long history of questionable cyber activity featured on Fox 5 Atlanta as victim. Denise Dillon of Fox 5 in Atlanta interviewed a purported victim of cyberbullying who is actually a suspected bully herself. The woman from Kennesaw, Kathy Scott, is well known across many social and digital platforms. After 2 years of cyber-stalking media personalities, journalists, and bloggers in South Dakota, Ms. Scott is still making life difficult for internet users across the country. Unfortunately, like the man who has felt her wrath in South Dakota for over 2 years, few have the resources to pursue her legally. A woman affiliated with K98 Talk in Cherokee, Georgia, recently received real threats from Ms. Scott. A police report was the basis for the story on Fox 5. According to the Fox 5 desk, also listed the name of a host of All-Con Radio and was clearly visible. The police report was actually a wellness check. The user's concern was based on the following Twitter activity by Kathy Scott using her account that she claims to own on her blog, meandmy1000girlfriends.com. In one of these blogs, Ms. Scott admits that her entire pattern of behavior was an experiment. Personally, I never agreed to be anyone's lab rat. The wellness check is suggested by Twitter, is the style of tweet used by the woman in Colorado, which references the Twitter address of local law enforcement, @Twitter, and @safety. The Colorado woman mentioned in the Fox 5 story, whose name was not only given to her stalker, but also broadcast to Atlanta by Fox 5 News, asked Miss Scott several times if she was okay, and was met with responses such as, "Why, are you telling me to kill myself?" The behavior by 4 accounts that were believed to be run by Kathy Scott, @Dakota Free Press, @Women's Party USA, @1000 Girlfriends, and @Band Mop Tweeters included pretending to be a 14-year-old grandmother, an African-American man, to name a few, acting disturbed or distressed and said her medication did not always work, talking about being threatened when she was not, saying that other Twitter users were threatening to kill her or trying to get her to commit suicide when they were not, blogging that included accusations toward other Twitter users, including the woman in Colorado, of forgery, lying, and creating false documents, claiming that she uses her gun to kill what is in front of her rather than for protection, claiming that she received emails that were never sent. Over the next few days, the woman in Colorado became the target of Miss Scott informational reports. Over the next few days, the woman in Colorado became the target of Miss Scott. Informational reports have been filed in several states on Miss Scott's cyber activities in the past week. After several days of what seemed to be an obsession with the woman from All-Con in Colorado, Miss Scott moved on to the woman from K98 Talk in Cherokee County. The stations K98 Talk and All-Con Radio are currently consulting separate authorities as well as counsel to better understand their next steps. In addition, both @Dakota Free Press and @Band Mop Tweets were suspended by Twitter for abuse of Twitter terms of service due to the way Ms. Scott was responding to and quote tweeting other users, including but not limited to fans of the radio shows, the hosts, and the fans of K98 Talk and All-Con Radio, and they were by no means the only Twitter users that responded to Ms. Scott and were met with shockingly accusatory tweets by Ms. Scott and immediately accused of harassing her when they clearly had not. A simple Google search will return a revealing view of her activities in South Dakota. How could Fox 5 Atlanta run such a story without a simple Google search? An additional rundown of the facts that were omitted from the Fox 5 story. Mrs. Scott stalked a journalist in South Dakota and his wife for more than 2 years. This is also easy to Google. The wellness check was not the only report available on Ms. Scott. I personally filed a report with the Garner, North Carolina Police Department on Tuesday, September 29th. In response, she posted that I had tweeted she was getting swatted. You can see from her own post, though it may be great clickbait, it is not true. As of Thursday morning, she had changed the swatting charge against me to trying to have her arrested. Could have, I don't know, because I didn't try. I filed an informational report only. Mrs. Scott has had several accounts suspended on Twitter. I was alerted to the fact that Mrs. Scott was going to be on Fox 5. I called their news desk. I identified myself as the PIO for the stations, and they told me they were not running a cyberbullying story. I called the news story during the broadcast where it occurred, again to let them know who they were interviewing. They took my number for their lawyers. Though she often deletes tweets from her Twitter timeline, all Miss Scott's tweets can be found here. tweettunnel.com/1000girlfriends. We believe that Miss Scott may have many more accounts. K98 Talk and Alt Con Radio are independent talk networks featured on channels such as Spreaker, Stitcher, SHR Media, iHeart, and TuneIn. K98 Talk is a part or partner with the Spark Radio Network. It is our understanding that Fox 5 Atlanta is owned by Fox 5 television stations and is listed at their public web as their public web property. All right, so just in the interest of fairness, since this story broke, we have had our PIO be contacted by Fox 5, who says they will be taking a deeper look in the individual story. That being said, this never should have happened. Okay, look, I never claimed to be a journalist. I've never once in my life told you that I'm a journalist. I am an opinion talk radio guy. But even I try to fact check the stuff that I talk about, and when I get it wrong, I let you know that I got it wrong. I'm telling you right now, what we're telling you and what is outlined in this story is the 100% correct truth as far as we can find it about this individual, these incidents, and what's been going on now for what is amounting to several years of harassment. That is a problem. A big problem. All right, so I think I've ran long. Actually, at this point, I think we're definitely going to have to take a break, or heck, I may have even missed the break. Let me take a look at something here. All right, yeah, we are definitely going to have to take a break, folks. I'll be right back with you here in just a couple minutes. All right, folks, that concludes the pre-recorded version or portion of the show. I'll be back just to wrap up some final thoughts here in just a couple minutes right here on America Off the Rails. Don't forget, stay tuned. We have a best of Red Nation Rising coming up next with Kelly Ward. Don't go away.
Red Nation Rising brings you Town Hall Radio.
From a single tweet to 3 million a month, our community is a force to be reckoned with on social media.
So don't miss our show, Thursdays, 8 p.m. Eastern on K98 Talk.
Our chat room is our co-host, and you ask the question.
Join us and be heard.
So get ready to sound off on Red Nation Rising Radio. No one else is going to do it for you.
In these uncertain economic times, you've got to do whatever you can to save money. One of our biggest expenses can be our cars, especially when unexpected repair bills hit. Not anymore. If you own a vehicle with less than 130,000 miles, is less than 12 years old, has a warranty about to expire, or even no warranty at all, you could stop paying for car repairs. Roadside assistance, towing, and rental coverage are all included. Don't wait for the next repair. Make one free call right now to see if you qualify. If your vehicle is less than 12 years old, has less than 130,000 miles, even if it's out of warranty, paying for car repairs can become a thing of the past. Call us right now and get your car protected before your next repair bill hits. Get protection and no more repair bills. Call 800-696-1030. Again, 800-696-1030. That's 800-696-1030. 800-696-1030.
K98Talk.com, a leader in internet radio. So grab your seatbelts and take the ride of your life on K98Talk.com.
We will never fully understand what we've asked of our military service members, of their families or their children, asking them to deploy, patrol, stay on watch, on point, asking them to put themselves in harm's way. to endure it all. But we do understand that it's our turn, our duty, to bring them all the way home, to keep them secure, to have their backs for the rest of their lives. Wounded Warrior Project long-term support programs do whatever it takes to help our most severely ill or injured veterans live independently, at no cost, for life, so that they might stand at ease. Find out how you can help at findwwp.org.
This is JD.
And this is Stacy.
Join us Tuesday nights, 10 p.m. Eastern, for Game On. Remember,
lock up the children and the old folks.
Game On, the home of Liberservative Conservative,
where no one is safe, no one is spared, not even the hosts.
Oh, that was supposed to be a spin cycle. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. We love you anyway. Right round, baby.
Self-monitoring
right
Ebola radio strikes again.
Anyway.
Anybody see the host monkey? Where's the host monkey? Where's the host monkey? For God's sake, I need an antidote. Just do your rant. Let's pop out of the segment.
Find us on Twitter at JD and Stacy.
You're listening to K98Talk.com.
Calls, we got a pen and telephone to bypass all your laws. Political courageous will replace the Bill of Rights. Support religious freedom, bless you, pray to Jesus Christ. The blessings in our pockets.
All right, folks, we're back. We're live. We're down to less than 10 minutes of the show at this point. The pre-recorded section actually lasted a little longer than I intended it to, but it didn't help that I had like a 12-minute rant in the front of it. I'm sorry. I've been trying to be a good boy for the last several weeks, and I can't do it anymore. You guys know me well enough to understand that I do not deal well when people that I've come to care about are starting to be attacked. I know we all work together over vast distances, mainly communicate over social networking and through things like Skype and email and everything else, but I work with these people day in and day out, and even if they're not directly part of K98 Talk, I still consider them friends, and most of K98 Talk, as far as I'm concerned, is family. And when someone turns on my family, they get what they deserve, and that's all I'm going to say about that. You can consider that a threat, Miss Scott. You can consider it whatever you want. I don't even care if you take this portion of the show out of context and try to spin it all over the place, because it doesn't matter, because I have the truth on my side. You can say whatever you want about me. You can attack me directly in any way that you choose, and I will deal with you in the best way that I can. But if you continue to come after my station, my friends, or my coworkers, or my family, then I will own you. It is that simple. There is no alternative, because you cannot continue to be allowed to attack people and have no consequences. That is not acceptable. You have tried to portray yourself as someone who is being cyberbullied. I, ma'am, am here to tell you that you are a cyber bully. I've told you that from the first time I have ever talked to you. And the thing that you do not understand is this is a family. We will defend one another to our last breath if that's what it takes. I'm sorry that you do not understand that. I'm sorry that you apparently don't have anything like that in your life. And I meant what I told you on social media before you blocked me. I have been and will continue to pray for you, because I am concerned for you. Not you physically, but your emotional state, because something is obviously amiss for you to take such pleasure in trying to cause so many people pain. Look at your own timeline, because at this point you're pretty much one of the only people that can still see it. Look at your own timeline. You are attacking everyone who disagrees with you. That is not how discourse is supposed to work in rational society. You need to take a look in the mirror. And then you need to do some very serious soul searching. Because I'm only going to say this to you one more time as we come down to about 6 minutes of the show. You will stand down and you will leave everyone involved in AltCon or K98 Talk alone, or else. And you can take that however you want it. But the one thing you can rest assured of, no one will ever come after you to harm you physically or even emotionally, because that damage is pretty much already done as far as your emotional well-being. But I will make sure that by the time we are done with you, you are on some sort of electronic leash and you are not able to run amok on social media targeting people, because you've been doing it for several years, and that ends tonight. It began years ago. It stops tonight. It may take us a while to get it done, but we're going to get it done. Not because we're afraid of you, but because you shouldn't be allowed to do what you've been doing to multiple individuals for the last several years. Your experiment either comes to a close and you consider it a failure, or there will be actions taken. You keep threatening things like attorneys, everything else. I don't make threats, ma'am. I have attorneys on retainer in 3 different states. I can find one in Georgia. Not a problem. So if you think you've got what it takes to come after me, you do whatever you think you've got to do. Because I am not afraid of you. I will not back down from you. I'm not intimidated. It doesn't matter to me that you're a woman who wants to play the victim card and say I'm being harassed because I'm a woman. Because I have daughters. I have a wife. I have friends that are women. Hell, most of my friends I've ever had for my entire life have been female, because most of the time I get along with them better than I do guys. But you know what? That's irrelevant. Because the simple fact of the matter is, you crossed a line and there are consequences. And I will be part of the group of people that make sure that you face those consequences. I will not do it alone, because I don't have to. Because all of those people that you basically took a screenshot when I told you, and I'll repeat it on air because it's the truth, that my staff and my friends and my family and even my listeners have my undying loyalty. I don't care if they listen to one show on the station. I don't care if they listen to all the shows on the station. If they're taking the time to listen, they have my loyalty. If there's someone who's giving of their time to try to get the message out of what it is that we need to do to try to fix this country, they have my loyalty. I know that is something that you will probably never understand, and at this point I don't care. So yes, I will tell you again, these people, Stacy, JD, Jody, Hammy, Lou, all of them, every single one of them that you attack on a daily basis, they have my loyalty, and I will always have their back. So if you continue to attack them, you will have to deal with me. And I won't come at you directly, man, because I don't have to. This will not be a frontal assault. You will not see it coming, but I will make sure that you do not have a legal leg to stand on ever again if you do not stand down. Because it was pretty easy to find one case. I'm going to give you a little hint. I used to be a private investigator. It was pretty easy to find the one case. And I'm pretty sure with the pattern that you've established, if I were to say, take one of my 5 weeks of vacation, that's right, I get 5 weeks of vacation from my day job. Let's say for the sake of argument, I was to take one of those weeks and fly down to Georgia and do a little poking with the permission of local law enforcement. I bet you I could find plenty of documented incidents in your past that indicate a pattern. So I'm only going to say this to you one more time, and in closing. You extended to us an invitation to a truce on LinkedIn. Either you do the things that are outlined in that truce, or we will continue to deal with you until it's done. You have attacked my friends, my family, my station, and hosts that I care about for the last time. All right, folks, that's going to do it for this particular episode of America Off the Rails. Just as a reminder, we do have a best of episode of Red Nation Rising Radio up next with special guest Kelly Ward, the person who is running to try to unseat the McRhino not so lovingly referred to as the McRhino, Mr. John McCain. And we will actually be back with you probably live again tomorrow night. Not sure, because everything's been pretty fluid with everything that's been going on. But at this point, I have to go ahead and get out of here to make room for Miss Lou to take over the airwaves, even though it is a repeat. Not only that, she shot me a name in a private message that now I'm kind of intrigued to look up, because apparently I remind her of this person. I guess she caught my little soliloquy at the front. All right, we're going to cut the intro short. I'm just going to play a regular bumper, run some spots, get out of here. I'll be back with you tomorrow night, folks. Don't go anywhere. Alright, folks, this is Rick Robinson with you. I want to tell you about some friends of mine from a company called Security Enforcement Specialists. When I ran my security agency for 12 years, I worked with one of these partners on a daily basis. He's been involved in this agency now, and with his other partner, they do have over 30 years of experience in the private security industry. If you own a business and you need someone to keep you or your customers or residents safe, then I highly recommend contacting Security Enforcement Specialists today. Give them a call at 405-703-1796. Again, that's 405-703-1796. Again, tell them Rick from K98 Talk sent you. Like I said, if you need the help, they are here for you. So make sure that you go look them up, check them out, and see what they can do.
The wrong way. Welcome to the place. Welcome.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. And then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-513-6154. That's 1-800-513-6154. Again, 1-800-513-6154. Call now.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.